All right, we are live. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the stream. My name is Random Hamilton, and I am going to be delving back into the artwork we started last week. Today we should be finishing up the piece. We are coming to the final area, and we just need to kind of push it over the line and get it solid up. Let's give some quick context here on what you're looking at. So this is a piece that we designed on the string. We just started off with pencil, doing some loose pens, and really we just wanted to kind of delve into a title that my wife came up with, which is a little bit of a self-portrait called The Man with Only One Remaining Given Name, which is me. We changed my name when we got married, and I decided I didn't like my middle name, so I went ahead and just changed it. I used to be called Ezra Wesley Hardman, and I am now Ezra Tobias Dahl. Figure that one out. And so yeah, we're just going to kind of keep pushing on this. We've only got a little bit of the banner left. I'm kind of at that point in the piece where I'm really ready for it to be done, so I can really move on to my next project. I've already kind of got a plan in mind, and yeah, we're just going to kind of let the piece come to life, and let's finish it up. Well, we'll be streaming today until about 7, so we've got a good 2.5 hours to just push through. I feel very confident that we can get this made, scanned in, and then hopefully if you're on the stream, I can shoot you a link to where you can download the art if you'd like it, and we'll just make it happen. Do a little Photoshop while I'm on the stream as well. So if you're just joining me, welcome to the stream. Happy to have you here. Please, any questions, any ideas, any comments, all very welcome. I'm building a stream that's a community, and I would love to have your participation in that. If you hear my son in the background, that's because he's down for his nap. I am a stay-at-home dad, and this is his nap time, so he fights a little bit. So if you hear little baby grumbles in the background, that's him. He's just adding his little flavor to the stream as well. All right, let's go ahead and get cracking and see what we can make happen here. So a couple things just to clarify what we did this morning. This morning we spent most of our time kind of situating this area right here. You'll notice that in my pieces I tend to go a little darker and on the pen work, and this is not necessarily true to like always, but in situations like this I think it is nice to be able to go a little tonally darker, because so many pieces tend to leave lots of white space, and I'm not against that. In fact, I think that some pieces that's what you need to do. But there are times when you can really just let darker values be your core storytelling mechanic. And by allowing that, it really frees you up from having to justify white space. Now, that's not to say that leaving white space is a bad thing, and in fact, again, vice versa. I'm a big believer in using negative space. I'm a big believer in using big blocks of color or white or black for that matter, as you can see here. It's just about finding the right answer for what you're working on. It's pretty much what it comes down to. I'm not a fan of that song. Next. Better. Alright, there we go. Alright, so now we're going to go ahead and we're going to start plugging in and getting this lower area solved. What you see me doing here is I've got one more of this slime-like material down below. The slime kind of represents my creativity. It's one of those things I'll often have abstract characters that kind of flow in and out of the slime, or I'll have faces appear. You know, the slime kind of serves a purpose. It's the same thing as sometimes I'll do like giant like black tentacles. It's more the massless form of an idea, right? For me, when I have an idea and I'm kind of in my creative flow, the idea that I have doesn't necessarily take a specific physical form. And what I mean by that is, often I'm not like, oh, I picture this character, or oh, I picture this kind of scenario happening. It's more of like, you know, it'd be really cool if this was going on and this was going on. And so I kind of more established the scene for myself. And then I allow my pen and just whatever I'm feeling in the moment to really define how those characters come together. For some people that's a little stressful. You know, for some people that's just too little planning, and I totally understand that. Because sometimes it feels good to have a clear picture of exactly what you're going to go for. But I've never really been that kind of an artist, and that may be a weakness, that may be a strength. Who knows? You know, we're just kind of designing and working and developing as we go. One thing I will say about this process, especially working in pen, is that if you get too caught up in trying to make it perfect, you're never going to finish. You know, there's a naturally occurring imperfection when it comes to working in pen that just happens every time you make a mark. You know, is that line perfectly straight to the one next to it? No. If you look up close, really close, are you going to be able to tell that there's differences or errors? Absolutely. But if you're not looking for those errors, and if you've done a good enough job in creating a visual sense of what you're trying to accomplish, the eye really is forgiving. The human eye likes to carry on, right? The human eye doesn't want to stop on a piece of art and then just remain and sit there kind of pondering. I mean, your mind might do that, but the eye likes to continue moving around because the eye is always moving around. Think about when you watch TV. Your eye is constantly adjusting. Think about when you're driving or talking to a friend. In fact, the next time you're talking to a person, do yourself a favor, and when you're just talking face to face and they've got eyes locked on you, pay attention to how much their eyes jump around. Every person, every human, our eyes are constantly moving, constantly. And so if you don't give the eye a reason to stop and reside on one spot, you allow yourself the room to make a lot more creative decisions without worrying about if it's good or bad. Because what your main concern right now, your main concern is to tell a story and draw the eye around the piece. And so that's all we're doing, is we're trying to think of working on these pieces as a way of communicating a larger story and just giving ourselves the room to create without being too hung up on if it's good or if it's bad or if it's right or if it's wrong. That's a very easy and completely reasonable way to approach art, but often it is not the most wholesome and healthy way to approach art. Because if, at the end of the day, for all your creative endeavors, you're looking at your stuff and you're still wondering if it's right or if it's wrong, then how can you appreciate what, you know, how you've grown and where you've come from, right? Right and wrong is a pretty impossible thing to generate, to define. Now you may say, hey, there was a technique I was going for, and did I meet the desired goal, or did I follow along with the explained tutorial, or did I hit the technique? You know, that's a fair question. But I feel like it's often something that just gets a little too much attention given to it. And so much that people will stop their progress because they think that maybe the path they're taking isn't the right path. And that's just such a really bad way to approach being a creative in any way, shape, or form. Like, yeah, there are proven techniques or proven movements or proven shapes that, you know, are a little more quality or a little more appreciated. But I don't necessarily think that you need to contextualize those things as a right or wrong kind of approach. I just think that tends to lead people into a very bad source of habits that are just unhealthy. They're unhealthy for a creative, they're unhealthy for an artist. What you see me using here is a whiteout pen just to kind of get the bulk of this center shape into a white. I'll do this if I don't want to bring an eraser in, because I don't want to go ahead and cause a smudge, right? Now keep in mind, this will all fully be digitized, so perfection is not what I'm going for. I'm going for the bulk of the center to just be that solid white. If you really get up close on this, you're going to see lots of little holes and stuff, but that's not what we're doing this for. We're doing this for ourselves for later, just so we can really cleanly mark that out. Okay. Alright, so we've got our slime built in. The slime's kind of wrapping up around the arm. It's coming here. It's kind of underneath the area. It's a little darker down here underneath the ropes. It wraps slightly around here, wraps onto the hands. So now we're going to go ahead, and I think we're at the point where we can delve fully into the banner. A couple things here. just noticed some errant lines, and that's okay. Again, I'm not going for perfection. That's not why we're here. We're just going to tell a story. I'm going to turn the audio down just a little bit. I think I might be a little loud. All right. Let's try for that. If you're just joining me, welcome to the stream. My name is Random Hamilton, and I am a illustrator, artist, 3D modeler, brand designer, creative, also stay-at-home dad, and I am now a streamer. This is about 3 weeks old I've been doing this, but it's been fantastic, really exciting. So today we are continuing to develop this visual artwork that we pulled together for earlier last week, and now we're just getting it all kind of put together and finishing the last touches. Oh, awesome! Hey, DJ VW, thank you very much. Appreciate you being here. Yeah, you know, just kind of crushing it along, pushing on the artwork. I'm kind of ready for this piece to be done. As much as I really like it, some of these pieces that can take me up to like a week can be a little bit daunting and just feel so heavy. And so I'm really looking forward to just getting this guy behind me, doing a little Photoshop on it, just to kind of make sure it reads properly all the way through. A little lightening here, a little darkening there. And then moving on to some more direct custom work. You're the only one here, so I'll tell you about it. So I've decided to go ahead and start pursuing the development of a series of pieces of artwork that is essentially mine and my son's walks that we take every single day. And I want to design a series of illustrations that will then fold into Photoshop paintings. When those Photoshop paintings are done, those will be the brand artwork for a series of vinyl toys. And I'd like to do a release of 10 different sets of toys a year, essentially like little dioramas. All fully created in the stream from nuts to bolts. Oh, awesome! That's great. Well, thanks for being here. I really appreciate it. Yeah, it's gonna be pretty cool. It's a pretty cool process, pretty cool thought process to kind of do this like pre-planning ahead of time. Hey, and likewise, you are now one of my most regular returning people. So if you have anything you'd like to see drawn, any ideas, suggestions, techniques, throw them my way, man. I'm super excited to have feedback and input, and eventually all the art that's done on the stream, I would love to be ideas from you guys. So any suggestions you have, very, very, very welcome, and I very much appreciate it. And thank you very much for being here. I love that you wanted to catch the art live. I'll continue on. What we're doing, and why we're doing it, and how we're doing it. So now let's go ahead and look at the when. Let me ask you first, do you have a time of day that you feel the most? My like real best work comes out around 11 p.m. And from 11 p.m. till 2 in the morning, my mind's really sharp. My artwork's really tight. Everything just kind of flows. And there's that window there where rhythm are going. It's generally, I walk away feeling extremely satisfied with my time investment for the evening. Find that you have kind of spaces where just when you are just kind of on it, but it just kind of lands in all the right ways, and you kind of hit easier. I've always been fascinated by that because I feel like every person really does have their own. If that is something that is a little more, I guess just depends on what it is that